Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Spunky Monkey 97, posted to r/Drop My Chest, January 13th, 2025. My sister cheated on her fiancé and then left her kids, all because she wanted a break. And I'm not supposed to say anything to her. Buckle up because this is a lot, but I'm really bothered by this and need to just vent because I cannot believe this has happened. My 27 female sister, 22 female, has two beautiful kids. One is 3 and the other is 14 months. When my sister had her oldest daughter, she suffered from PPD, but with support, she was able to come out of it. She didn't really bond with the kid much after though. Occasionally she would do fun things with her, but it was very rare. Shortly after I had my son, and I was over the moon. I've never loved something as much as I love my kids. I now have 2 as well. When she found out she was pregnant with her second, she didn't get as excited as she did with the first, but as the pregnancy progressed, she was getting more excited. Fast forward to the second kid being born. She didn't show any signs of PPD, but she bonded with the second kid way more than she did with the first. I'm not sure if it was because she was exclusively breastfeeding or what, but definitely had a better bond with this one. She would get more irritated with the firstborn, who was only 2 at the time, and just more distant with her. Her youngest started showing some health issues, nothing super serious, some food allergies and skin issues, and that seemed to just utterly defeat my sister. All of the family and her fiancé were very encouraging and tried to help her see the bright side, find recipes for the daughter, etc. But she didn't seem like she was interested in any of it. She started to distance herself from both kids now, only doing the bare minimum. Now we just found out that my sister has been emotionally cheating on her fiancé, who is the definition of a literal golden retriever partner, LOL. He loves his kids and my sister and took very good care of all 3 of them. He would only ever push my sister to do better and never in a mean way. Anything they needed, he provided for them, while my sister got to be a stay-at-home mom. 2 days ago, she broke things off with the fiancé and had this complete stranger come get her from another state. She has never met him and only been FaceTiming or playing on Xbox for about a month. All because she said she had no emotion and needed a break. She left with a guy, and I'm not supposed to know any of this. I'm distraught for my nieces and my brother-in-law. Or I guess not my brother-in-law anymore. I don't understand how a mother could leave her kids, go out of town with someone she didn't know without a care in the world. I love my kids, and I couldn't do that to them. Part of me wonders if it's PPD or maybe a manic episode. I genuinely don't know. I've also learned some other things about how she's been recently that just make me think I never really knew who my sister was, and that's heartbreaking because she was my best friend. I cannot condone that behavior. My brother-in-law is filing for emergency custody, but I hope she doesn't try to take those kids from him because she doesn't deserve them. They deserve stability, and she's clearly not stable. Ugh. Comments. She's a villain comments. Why do you keep saying you're not supposed to know any of this? OP responds, my brother-in-law told me and doesn't want my sister to know I know until he files court paperwork, just in case she tries anything since they're not married. User Gilgame Distance responds, if this is the reason brother-in-law is wise, please listen to him and let his lawyers work out custody. It sounds like the best thing for those kids is for him to have sole full custody. Please help him get that. OP responds, I plan on it. User Nat the Cat Mom comments, we really need to know how old is brother-in-law. OP responds, he's 22. User Madable, what kind of support did your sister receive when she was going through PPD? Her behavior for the last 2 years has been troubling, this escalation especially so. Your sister needs professional help desperately. OP responds, she saw a therapist for a few weeks but quit going. We would come over, help with chores, cook, babysit so she could take a shower or nap, or even so she could go out with her fiancé. User Honor the Crones downvoted comments, he was never your brother-in-law. Why did they never marry? Opie responds, they were going to have an October wedding this year. My sister didn't want to just go to the courthouse, she wanted a ceremony and everything. So they were saving for that. User Peppermint Valet comments, he would only ever push my sister to do better and not in a mean way. Can you elaborate on this? Opie responds, if she wasn't pulling her weight with house stuff, he would just have an adult conversation with her and then help her do whatever was needed to do. For example, he works 8 to 7 p.m. and would come home and the dishes from the previous night were not done or any laundry, etc. So he would talk to her about it and then they would do it together. Or if she was depressed and wanted to just lay in bed all day, he would do something like make her favorite breakfast and encourage her to get up, even if it wasn't easy. User OwoJoe92 comments, possible borderline personality disorder? She could be monkey branching, as I've heard it called before, essentially always having her arms stretched out to the next branch, metaphorically speaking, looking for that next bit of validation, excitement, dopamine hit, whatever. Swinging from one thing/person to the next. First it was her partner, then child 1, then child 2, now random dude. Opie responds, she was diagnosed with that when she was younger, was medicated for a long time, and when she turned 18, she took herself off of her medication. She said she was feeling better off the meds, so we all just assumed she was okay. That was our error, but her choice to be off her medication. User One of These Nights 23 comments, why did nobody get her real help? Encouraging her to see the bright side isn't help. She's so young to have 2 babies in PPD sounds like she needs real help if running away is easier than dealing with her life. Did she see a therapist after her first pregnancy? Opie responds, yes, she did for a few weeks, and then she quit going, and I guess she just masked that everything was fine. User Yak Electronic 6713 comments, why does your sister have 2 kids at the age of 22, when it was so obvious she doesn't enjoy being a mother? Has the golden retriever pressured her into having children? Opie responds, not at all. They planned the first one, and then the second one was a surprise. They weren't really being careful. My sister was on birth control, but didn't take it like she was supposed to. Would miss days, etc. User Wheelhouse, but the vowels are replaced with numbers. That's some fucking bullshit that you can't say anything to her about abandoning her children. Make sure that the abandonment is well documented so that when the father of the children sues for full custody of the children, it'll be easier for him to do so. Also, update me. Opie responds, yeah, he wants all of the court BS situated first, and then I fully plan on losing my shit. I'll probably also just send the link to this post so when she tries to say I'm judging her or whatever, then she can see that I'm not alone in thinking she sucks. Mental health issues I could sympathize with, as I am type 1 bipolar. But even still, she should be able to be an adult and communicate that she needs help, and not cheat on a really good man and then abandon her kids. Also, a few people I've said to update them when I can, and I plan to, but I'm newer to Reddit, so I'm not sure how to do like a mass update, lol. As a general heads up, if someone puts update me like that in their comment, usually the bot will do it for them. Update 1. Put in the main post after 7 days, January 20th, 2025. Since some of you have asked, I'll update on the little bit of info we have. So, my brother-in-law changed phone plans and did not include her on his new bill. She called him and asked him why he didn't put her on it. Like, she genuinely didn't understand that he's not going to be paying for her things anymore. She told him that she isn't going to fight him and that he can have full custody of the kids, and that she still wants to be able to call and visit when she feels like. The guy she ran off with just lost his car because he signed divorce papers right before he left to get my sister, and his ex took the car because it was in her name. LOL, karma is beautiful. She also told my brother-in-law that she plans on moving back with the new guy so they can be close to her kids. I don't get her logic in any of this really. Also, people have asked, so some answers here. Brother-in-law is 22. My sister asked my brother-in-law not to tell us, my mom and I, because she did not want us to get in the way of her being able to see her kids or to judge her. Too late. My brother-in-law doesn't want her to know we know until after all of the court stuff is finalized. He's doing okay. Him and his mom are actually going to be moving a little closer to our family, so we can all help out with the kids. It takes a village, and he's definitely got one. Since my sister being out of the picture for a week now, the youngest kid has taken her first steps. Oh, and the oldest seems genuinely happier. I'm coming from a much less angry place. I still cannot stand that she did this, and I am cutting contact with her. My partner and I are supporting my brother-in-law as much as we can with 2 kids of our own. This whole situation has been insane. I'll update more if anything else happens. Thank you to everyone who gave advice and didn't judge me venting. Once this isn't all so fresh, I'm going to show brother-in-law the thread and let him see that it was not his fault. Update 2, after 17 days, January 30th, 2025. Okay, so I have a few updates to this absolute insanity of a situation. First, I posted the first update as an edit to the original post. Since then, my sister called my mom and asked her for any legal contacts so she looks like she has her shit together. My mom told her no, and that she isn't going to help her because she abandoned her children. My sister is still convinced that she did not abandon them. She yelled at my mom, stating that she hasn't left them and that she's only 3 hours away and calls to talk to them every night. She doesn't. She has called a few times, but not every day. She's still planning on moving back home with this new guy so she can be closer to the kids, but I'm pretty sure my brother-in-law is only going to allow her to have supervised visits, since she's made comments about just taking the kids and how she should have done that from the start. Her best friend suggested it. When my mom tried to reason with her and ask her why she didn't just come to her, her response was, "I just want to be on my own," which I found ironic because she hasn't been on her own ever, and she's still not on her own. She's still mooching off another guy with a job, and she still doesn't have a job, a license, or her GED. We have all offered to help her get those things, but she has no drive to actually do it. Brother-in-law and his mom are moving closer to me and my parents so we can all help each other and hopefully make things easier on brother-in-law as he tries to be a single dad with 2 toddlers. Brother-in-law is in much better spirits. He was upset until my sister called him while she was naked and asked him for money, and then she proceeded to put on the other guy's hoodie and walk around the house until he could see the other guy in the background. My brother-in-law said at that point he knew he was never getting her back and didn't want her back, and he's doing much better. He has good days and bad days, but the good are outweighing the bad. The kids are actually thriving without my sister there too. My sister would parent by just turning on the TV and letting them do whatever. But brother-in-law is much more involved with them, as is his mom. If anything else crazy happens, I'll post another update, but for now, I think we're just waiting for all of the long-term court paperwork to be submitted. He got emergency custody, and it was filed that she abandoned them and fled the state. Thank you to everyone who has let me vent and given some good advice. This has definitely been a roller coaster. Final update, after 1 year and 7 months. August 12th, 2026. Hi guys, so I'm OP. Thought I would post another update as I was reminded of this post through a comment, so I hope you have your popcorn. So my sister and the Xbox guy are still together, and to put it simply, he sucks. He's a raging narcissist and has a pretty explosive temper for someone who's almost 30. They moved back to the same state as us and lived with my mom and stepdad for a little bit with the understanding that she was to get her life together. They never paid rent, they didn't clean, and the room constantly smelled of BO and s***. It was disgusting. When my parents addressed the issues, the Xbox guy said that he doesn't do dishes, instead he just throws them away. And that if he doesn't cook, then he shouldn't have to do dishes. My sister and him would get into some pretty nasty arguments where he would name call and get in her face. For reference, my sister is 5'3" and he's 6'5". They ended up getting kicked out of my mom's house when they refused to help financially or physically around the house. They wouldn't even buy groceries except like maybe $50 every other month, and my sister would need rides to work and not compensate for gas. My parents are not well off. They pay their bills and have very little extra financially to do anything else. So when paying for 2 extra adults, they were drowning. They now live in a camper that they bought with the Xbox guy's divorce money, but he put it in my sister's name only because he didn't want to get a license and register it in his name, just in case the courts came after him for not paying child support to his child, who hasn't even turned a year at this point. I think he's about to or just turned 1, but They don't see him, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty disconnected from that. Their relationship is sad, but honestly, she did it to herself. She's put his hands on her, locked her in the bathroom and told her to figure out how to get out, spit in her face, etc. He doesn't want her to work because he's very religious and believes in the traditional ways of life, and that the woman stays home and he provides. Meanwhile, they barely pay their bills and he makes like $15 an hour, which is not really anything in this economy, especially him paying child support. A few months ago, she was going to leave him because he got abusive, and we honestly still don't know the extent of it, but she ended up staying. And when I asked her why stay with this piece of shit, her words verbatim to me were, well, you know how it is. When you're with a narcissist, you know you're the victim, but you just can't leave because they do have good qualities, and it's not bad all the time. I was in a mentally abusive relationship but got myself out of it, and I'm thriving. So I don't actually know how it is. So she stays home all day getting high and just waits for him to come home. She doesn't come to family gatherings because we all can't stand him due to our own personal experiences with him, and he hates to see independent women who don't bow down to his stupid ass. As for the kiddos and ex-fiancé, he moved to another state with the girls where he has family support. They are very well taken care of. He works 2 jobs to support them, and his mom and grandma helps watch them for him. Apparently, she talks to them on FaceTime, but not every day, and the ex now knows about the abuse from the Xbox guy because she decided to call him crying for help, and had him listen to how Xbox guy was talking to her during an argument. So I highly doubt that their dad will allow this piece of shit to be around the girls. He even offered to drive the 12 hours to come get her and bring her back to their state so she could get away from him and be with the girls. He has said he will probably always have love for my sister, but he knows they're not a good match. I talk to her maybe twice a month because even though I don't like her choices, I do care for my sister. And my conversations are basically life checks at this point. Apparently, she's starting a job this week because Xbox guy asked for help with the bills. We will see how long this lasts. I am just certainly asking myself, why? I mean, I suppose the one commenter talking about monkey branching is probably pretty close, but really? Xbox guy? This is a recipe that can only lead to disaster because if she ends up getting pregnant again, well, he's gonna be a terrible father, that's for damn sure, if he's already abusing her. And on top of that, as much as a shitty thing as it is to say, her other kids are probably better off without her. It sounds like she's untreated, willfully so, and is just allowing herself to just kind of swing through the motions of life without medication for something that she needs medication for, and it's affected literally everyone around her. And she went for Xbox guy, who she only knew for a month, who dropped his wife, and, well, here we are. The guy who throws away plates because he doesn't want to do dishes. All I can really hope is that she eventually wakes up and gets the hell out of this situation, because this is not good for her. On a note that's more of a curiosity for me, for anyone who has BPD or any similar diagnoses, when you take your medication, do your bad decisions catch up with you when you have a moment of clarity? Like, if OP were to take her medication, would she have a moment of, what the fuck have I done? Because it is very clear that she is unwell and she is actively being taken advantage of because of her current mental state. And in the end, I just hope that she can find her way out. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Am I the Asshole Throwaway 78, posted to r/Am I the Asshole, July 4th, 2020. Am I the asshole for getting mad at my boyfriend for throwing out my teddy bear? I have this light pink teddy bear I had for as long as I can remember. The teddy bear means a lot to me, even though the teddy bear is quite worn out and old. I keep the teddy bear on my side of the bed, and as weird as it sounds, I sleep with the teddy in my arms. My boyfriend dislikes that I sleep with the teddy bear because he thinks it's childish, but I honestly find comfort in it because, again, as weird as this sounds, this teddy bear was something I found comfort in since I was a little girl. When my parents would argue, I would hide while hugging my teddy in my arms. So I came back home from work and get ready for bed, and I can't find my teddy anywhere. I asked my boyfriend where my teddy is, and he told me he threw it out. I began to cry and told him to get out of our house, which he left and texted me saying I'm an asshole for kicking a human being out over a dumb teddy bear. Am I the asshole here? Comments. Local anime nerd, downvoted. Info. Why didn't he like the bear? Just because you slept with it? Opie responds, he thinks it's old and ugly and doesn't like that I sleep with it. User LunarHair82 comments, did he throw it out like in your household trash? Were you able to retrieve it or was it too late? If this happened like yesterday or something, you may be able to contact the transfer station. If it went into a community dumpster and it hasn't been emptied yet, you might be able to retrieve it. Someone from your local waste management organization may be able to help you. Then make your ex-boyfriend pay for professional cleaning and disinfecting and any necessary repairs needed. Opie responds, it happened yesterday. I looked through all our trash cans and couldn't find it. I'm really sad because I really love that teddy. My teddy helps me sleep at night. I'll try calling someone from my local waste management, but the problem is I honestly do not know where he threw it out. User CatLady 198787 comments, not the asshole. I have a white bunny named Cuddles, and if anyone threw it out, I would have the same reaction as you. Were you able to retrieve it? Opie responds, no. I looked through all our garage and sadly can't find it. I honestly don't know where he threw it out. User Viva la Vie Boheme. Did you find out which trash can he put it in, OP? OP responds, no, I looked through all my garage and couldn't find my teddy. I asked him where he threw it out, but he's not getting back to me. Viva la Vie Boheme comments further, I'm so sorry. Do you have any pictures of her? Maybe I can look around online and help you find her original and you can order another one. OP responds, my teddy bear was a one-of-a-kind. My grandma made her for me when I was just an infant before she passed away. I actually named my teddy after my grandma, Izzy. I don't think there'd be any teddy that could replace this one. I'm honestly at a loss on what to do. Consensus, not the asshole. Final update, 1 day later, July 5th. Am I the asshole for getting mad at my boyfriend for throwing out my teddy bear? Thank you everyone for the kind replies, everyone. You guys made me feel less insecure about sleeping with my teddy. I have some good news. My teddy Izzy was found unharmed. I ended up calling my ex-boyfriend's sister, let's call her Ann, crying my eyes out about what happened. I have never seen her so angry. She couldn't believe her brother would do such a thing and said she'll talk to him. And a few hours later, I got a call from her telling me she has my teddy and she brought Izzy back to me. I was so happy I honestly thought I'd never see Izzy again. My ex-boyfriend never actually threw my teddy out. He just hid her in the glove box of his car. I don't know why he didn't just give her back to me, even when he saw me so upset with my teddy being gone. I have officially ended things with him because I don't think I'd feel safe with him around my teddy or my other valuables again. I feel so thankful for Anne. I plan on making her a thank you cake or making a teddy bear cake. LOL. Once again, don't date someone who you feel you have to hide your stuffed animals from. Or I guess in this case, someone who you found out you had to hide your stuffed animals from. What was his end plan here? You put the teddy bear in your glove box because you knew she'd be mad if you actually threw it away. Then she got mad at you because you told her you threw it away. And you didn't think to give it back? Because you kind of realized, didn't you, that there is no going back. That if you pulled the teddy bear out of your glove box, she'd be mad at you. So do you let her know that you just lied to her for some reason and give the teddy bear back? Or do you double down and just be like, well, shit, can't give it back now, so here we are. Which then, of course, you got chewed out by your sister for being a terrible person. So that was well deserved. Honestly, the sister was probably horrified to find out what kind of brother she actually had. I also wonder if he knew the significance of the fact that that's kind of just a comfort stuffed animal, one that her grandmother had given her before she passed away. Like, if he knew all of these things on top of what he had already done, he deserved worse than a breakup. Honestly, I'd be kind of curious to hear what your guys' theories are as to what his end goal here was, because the fact that he had, in fact, put it in his glove box and didn't actually throw it away despite what he told her, does speak to there being other intentions or motives here. Like, I've got to ask if he just thought, it's an old teddy bear, she won't miss it. Or if he was doing this from a control aspect of, yeah, I know it's her childhood teddy bear, but now she'll have to rely on me to fall asleep at night. Or if it was literally just yeah, but I'm her boyfriend, so I should mean more to her than this teddy bear, so I'm gonna get rid of it so I don't have competition. Now that I say it out loud, I actually do wonder if he felt that he was competing with a teddy bear. And if he was that insecure, and that's why he did what he did. Well, dude, now you're not competing with anything. Now you're single. And you should definitely, to all the girls that you flirt with, tell them this story, because that'll definitely hook, line, and sink them. 100% so. Definitely not trying to lead you astray or anything like that. No, me? I would never. This post was collected by Shattenspringer, and their tagline is, waste of a read, literally no drama. The original OP is Emotional Letter 8226, posted August 7th, 2026. My new neighbor's parties are creeping me out. I, 25 male, just moved into a duplex. Rent is affordable, it's nice to finally escape the apartment life, and I'm so excited to be able to have a garden. Everything has been great so far, except my neighbors/housemates are giving me weird vibes. I live in one half of the house, and a couple, probably mid-30s, lives on the other side. Let's call them Arden and Andrea. I haven't met them yet, but in the week I've been here, something kind of strange has been happening. 2 times they've had a bunch of people over, like 15. For reference, the house isn't super big to begin with, so 15 people on their side is likely a bit of a squeeze. But the weird thing is that there is zero noise from their side, like complete silence. Our walls are not thick. I hear when they vacuum. You'd think 15 people hanging out would bleed through the walls, but nothing. The people they've had over look to also be in their 30s, and I'll walk up to their door, go in, and then nothing. I don't know why it's creeping me out, but that's 17 people on the other side of the wall and zero noise. They're in there for about an hour or so, and then they all leave. Has anyone had anything like this before, or have any ideas what they might be doing? I don't want to say anything, because that'd be weird, but I also want to know what goes on over there. Edit. Okay, there have been some developments. Posted an update, but don't know how to link it here. Comments by OP. I heard them having a heated discussion the other day, and that came through the wall, so surely a bunch of people having book club would too. Wow, a lot of people commented on this. For the record, I'm not trying to snoop, just politely curious what goes on with all of those people and zero noise, like not even conversation. I made some chocolate chip cookies and I'm going over there to introduce myself and give them to them tomorrow and maybe ask if it naturally comes up. Praying they don't have allergies to my gift of sustenance. Crossing fingers emoji. A bunch of people asked if there's a basement. Not on my side, so I would assume not on theirs, but maybe. I don't know. Thank you all for your ideas. I'll report back if there's any more info on what it is they do. Update, August 8th, 2026. 1 day later. Wow, did not expect this post to get this much attention. Y'all had a bunch of ideas I hadn't thought of as to what my neighbors were doing last week. Unfortunately, I'm still, if not more confused than I was before. I made cookies yesterday and took them over this morning to introduce myself and maybe ask what they're up to if it came up naturally. And I can say 100% there is something weird going on with the neighbors. The woman opened the door and I said, hey, and my name, and then I moved in next door and offered her cookies. She looked at me for like 15 seconds without saying anything, like a head to toe kind of look, and then smiled really big and was like, hi, I'm Andrea, welcome to the neighborhood. And then she asked if I wanted to come over on Sunday night because they're having a gathering. I asked what kind of gathering, and she just said to bring a notebook and a pen. I asked why, and she said it's going to be fun, and I'll meet new people, and just kind of smiled at me. I was creeped out, y'all. I said I'd have to check my schedule, and she looked like she knew I was stalling, but said she hoped I could make it. And then I went back to my side of the house. Anyway, I don't know if I should go, cause if it's something religious, I'm not interested. And if it's something else, I don't want to just go in blind. What should I do? And what do you think it is? Update 2, August 9th, 2026. 2 days later. Okay guys, thank you for all your ideas and thoughts on whether I should go or not. If you missed my first 2 posts, the too long didn't read is that I moved into a duplex and my neighbors had a bunch of people over, but I would never hear any noise through the very thin walls, which was weird. I went and introduced myself and got invited to one of those gatherings with no info, except to bring a notebook and pen. Even though some people said I shouldn't go, I went and I just got back and I have a lot to update you on and am also not entirely sure what just happened, so please hang with me. So Andrea said 8, and at about 7:45 people started showing up like they did last week. I waited a few more minutes and then went over and knocked on their door with the notebook and pen she asked me to bring. A woman I didn't recognize opened the door, and I said Andrea invited me over. She introduced herself and led me inside. We walked through the living room and kitchen, which were normal. I was expecting bondage gear after all y'all who were like, it's a sex thing. And she opened a door in the hall. Those of you wondering if they had a basement on their side were right. We walked down the stairs, and in the unfinished basement were all the people I've seen going into their house. They were milling around, chatting, and there were chairs in a few rows. But the weirdest thing was what was on the walls. Dozens of posters of people, cats, dogs, and items, like missing posters and sticky notes all around them too. Andrea came up to me and was like, "You came! Yay!" And she introduced me to her husband, and I was like, "What is this?" And they told me that they run a group that tries to find missing people, pets, and items and collect the reward money. I was like, what? And they kept explaining, but I honestly tuned them out. I was panicking more than a little because of all the things y'all said might be going on, and this wasn't something I'd considered / prepared my mind for. I asked if they've ever actually solved anything, and Andrea said they've found a few pets and stolen items and feel like they have some leads on people. They introduced me to a few other attendees, and then the meeting, for a lack of a better word, began. Andrea and her husband stood at the front while everyone else sat on their chairs and called people up who I guess had been assigned different cases who gave updates on their progress. This couple came up and talked about how they'd gone to the police station to ask about a missing woman in the county, and the police hadn't told them anything. Why would they? And a guy got up and gave his theory on a briefcase that was stolen out of someone's car. It was so weird, but if I had gotten up and left, everyone would have seen me, and I didn't want to stand out. At the end of the meeting, Andrea called me up and pulled a missing cat poster off the wall and told me it was my first case. I was too stunned to say anything, so I just took it and sat down. And when the thing ended, I got the hell out of there, and now I'm writing this. So, Reddit. My new neighbors run a civilian bounty hunter ring out of their basement, which is why I didn't hear any noise through the walls. And I'm supposed to be looking for an orange cat named Peaches, who has a $200 reward. What the fuck do I do? Anticipating a question, I have no idea what they do with the money they get. I did not want to hang around and dig any deeper. I guess this isn't the weirdest thing, the more I think about it, but I don't want to be a member of whatever this is. Edit, now that some of the shock has worn off, this is kind of rad, and I feel it may be my moral duty to hashtag find Peaches. So, out of all of the possible options that it could have been involving 15 people going into a home and making no noise for hours on end, and then leaving, and then finding out there's a basement, this was certainly not on my list of things that I was expecting. Especially with the neighbor's initial reaction to seeing OP and kind of having their eyes wander over them and pretty much giving the, "oh, you'll do just fine" approach to it. But it turning out that it's just a group of adults who are spending their time actually trying to make their community a better place and make some money by pooling together the reward money as they go. That's actually kinda cool. I hope OP continues to show up, and I also hope OP finds Peaches. Out of all the options that it could have been, some being a lot more horrific than others, The fact that it's basically just a civilian bounty hunter ring, that's pretty cool. And OP, you definitely should not run away from that. It actually sounds like a good use of your time. Plus, you could also make some new friends, and that's always difficult to do nowadays. So hey, may as well just enjoy it. And who knows, maybe you'll find someone's beloved pet cat, Peaches. This post was collected by Big O Nerd. The original OP is Holly2321, posted to r/relationships January 31st, 2016. My 25 female, husband's 27 male, old friend 25 male, told me my husband is gay. I went to one of my husband's friend's wedding reception yesterday. We're sitting at our table when a man who I don't recognize, and I know pretty much all of my husband's friends, came over to our table, greeting my husband. They met like they hadn't seen each other in a long time. My husband even said to him, "Wow, you look good," and he was smiling a lot. His friend even said, "I love your beard. Wish you had grown it out a bit earlier when I told you to." And then he turned slightly in my direction and I smiled. And then my husband introduced us, quite hesitantly, saying, "This is my wife." I didn't think much of it, except for the odd way my husband looked at him. Although maybe every fitness trainer looks at other fit men like that. I don't know. The friend gave me a weird look, and it got pretty awkward. It took a few seconds for him to smile and introduce himself, saying my husband got him started at the gym about a year ago or something. Then they both left to meet some other friends. When we were leaving the reception, the friend comes up to me while my husband was saying goodbye to the groom. He said, "I don't know whether I should be telling you this or not, but your husband is gay. Take my word for it, I am too." And then he said sorry and left, speed walking away. I was left in utter shock and I couldn't and still can't tell if he was being serious or not. I kept silent until today's morning. I had my suspicions something was up a year after we got married and he was getting too close to his male clients. I used to see him getting really close to some of them while I was at the gym too. When he got pissed that I didn't want to go to last year's Pride Parade. The fact that he doesn't want kids and keeps saying, "Not now." The fact that he jerked off way more than we have sex, and will do it right after he says he's not in the mood. But then I brushed it off, thinking that it was normal for him. So this morning I told him what his friend said to me, and he became really angry. Started swearing at him, the friend, repeatedly, before leaving the house, and he's not back yet. Not returning my texts or phone calls. I drove over to the gym, and he's not there either. He's been gone since 11 a.m. What do I do? Too long didn't read. Husband's friend tells me my husband is gay. I confront him, and he left the house and still isn't back. Edit. He still isn't back. It's been 24 hours now. I don't know where he is. I've called his friends, his coworkers, and everyone I possibly can who'd know where he is. I'm very worried. Comments. OP didn't leave any comments. Final update after 3 days, February 3rd, 2016. I wrote the update a few days ago, but the auto-moderator kept removing it because I accidentally deleted the first update. So it thought I was reposting. Since a lot of you were wondering what happened after not being home since 11 a.m. till the next day at 7 p.m., I went to my mom's place around 5ish because I was so shaken. I was going to have a panic attack. I called everyone who I thought would know where he is, but no one did. I was thinking about filing a missing persons report like some of you said, but by that time, it was 7, and he called me, saying he was home, and literally hung up the phone. I got there as fast as I could. I get in the house, and most his shit is packed, so I assume he came in before. I started crying, and he just sat on the couch while I yelled at him. He said absolutely nothing. Just when I started feeling bad, the friend we saw at the wedding comes out of my bedroom holding boxes. I lost it and yelled at him. Called him every fucking name in the book. My husband tried telling me to stop, but I told him I wouldn't until he told me what was going on. I told him to tell his friend to get out of my house so we could discuss it. So he left. I asked him if he was gay, and he said he is, but didn't know how to deal with it. Apparently, he married me because I was in love with him and he felt bad. When I asked if he cheated on me, he said yes, with the same friend. They met at a bar and slept together. The friend didn't know he was married and wanted a relationship. My husband said he fell in love with him and wanted to be with him, but couldn't, so they drifted apart a year later. The wedding was the time they met after all that time, and that's when he realized my husband was married. He told me he initially left to give his friend, Matthew, a piece of his mind for telling me. But I'm assuming he went there, fucked him, and then they took a shower and slept together because he was dressed in someone else's clothes and clearly looked well slept and fine. Better than before, actually. While I looked like an absolute mess with bags under my eyes and my face was fucking breaking out. I have never been so infuriated and sad in my entire life. I have absolutely no energy left in me. I told him to take his stuff and we're getting divorced. And all he said was, "I'm sorry it has to be this way, but at least be a little nicer to Matthew for forcing me to come out so we can each be happier." So he clearly cares more about him than he ever did about me, and I'm apparently a pity case. He left with his new boyfriend, and I'm certain they're moving in together now. I've been sitting on my bed crying my eyes out and having a massive headache since then. I really don't know how to live without him. I love him, and despite all of that, he's done so many amazing things, and I honestly can't let go. I don't live at our place anymore, even though he said I could have the house. I've been staying at my mom's place because everything reminds me of him. Before he left, he told me he did love me, just in a different way. I don't know what to do anymore. Thanks for all the kind words and advice. It was comforting to read. Too long didn't read, husband is gay, we're getting a divorce. So this is a pretty evil thing to do. And telling your soon-to-be ex-wife, "Hey, you should really be nicer to the guy that I'm cheating on you with because he made me realize I could live a happier life without you." That is not a cool thing to do, dude. That is really fucked up. Trust me, I understand wanting to stay in the closet, not wanting people to know who you really are, or wanting to make sure that you have some sort of, protection or wall against any kind of criticism or side eyes or anything that might prevent you from enjoying being your true, authentic self. Some people choose to remain in the closet because they don't want that label on them, and some people are forced to remain in the closet. And the problem is that if you are in the closet and you actively seek out and maintain a relationship with someone that you are not attracted to, either out of pity or to save face, that makes you a bad person. Because they didn't sign up to be your cover story, they signed up to be your partner. And that's not what they are to you. And you're just going to cause them pain for your own selfish gain. I really hope that what I'm saying here isn't like some kind of controversial take. Oh yay, we're sitting here in the outro. Don't forget, GamerSups, use code OZ at checkout. You got caffeine free, and a lot of other stuff. Get 10% off and use the code too, and every purchase made supports the channel directly. Hell, you guys have been using the code a lot, and it's been super cool. As for a bit of a fun update this time around, I actually have a photo this time of the room I've been painting, finally. I got it all cleaned up. I took a photo earlier, but it had like a bunch of just like work stuff in there for like, painting, and I was like, I don't like that. So I got it all cleaned up and got the carpets cleaned, and yeah, this is what it looks like. Gotta painted the ceiling a dark color, gotta put like acoustic panels on it still. Don't mind the light just casually hanging down like that. I did that for painting and I haven't gotten around to replacing it yet, so it's just kinda there, like a fire hazard. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, the green is super cool. It's like a weird kind of like soft bluish green when like there's non-natural lighting on it, like what you see here. But then when like the sunlight hits it, it's more of a blue. So big fan of that. I'm hoping tomorrow to begin putting up acoustic treatment and whatnot and get that whole process started. So that'll be a lot of fun. Not really. It's a lot of work. But yeah, just got to get acoustic panels up and then get everything wired properly because some of them have like LED lights behind them. It's kind of a cool little setup. Got some wood slats that I'll be putting up so that way it'll have some more decoration. And then some lights that go in the wood slats, which I'll have to cut the wood slats for the outlets, and a lot of more steps. Then I got to build my new desk and then wire everything up. So lots of fun. But it's really weird seeing this room green because This has been just blank walls for the past, like, at this point, 6 years, and I've been streaming out of it for God knows how long, and now it's just entirely unrecognizable. And it's just gonna slowly get more and more unrecognizable until it's just an entirely new room. It's weird seeing paint on walls because your brain, like, when it's so used to how a room specifically looks and then it catches out of the corner of its eye, it just doesn't feel real. So I'm dealing with that, but got the ceiling painted today. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I like it when the ceiling is dark and a different color because your eyes just naturally kind of forget the ceiling's there, and makes the room feel a lot bigger than it actually is. So I like that. Anyways, with that update out of the way, I hope to catch you guys all later. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow.